get to walk, knowing that everything he's doing is being surveillance, recorded. He don't care. Doesn't care. It's mind blowing.
Because body cameras are it's a national law.
Mm-hmm.
Every police officer has them. My campus safety officers,
Right.
they turned it on for the whatever duration. As soon as they punch that clock in, as soon as they have to go on their rounds, tap it on. If you don't tap that thing on, it's an infraction, because when it does count and it wasn't on, you're reprimanded.
Mm-hmm.
So, I believe I just look at it like, wow, coronavirus, all these black deaths, unification of a world, and now it's at a point where you cannot deny what you see. You cannot deny it.
Damn sure can't.
And I got an Asian friend who's like pissed, mad, like what is this Asian police officer doing? And you're a marginalized person in America.
Man, look. But that's crazy too, because I see a lot of other people of other races how they think they're white too. I see a lot of that, how they think that they're on the same level. I see Mexicans like that. I see Asian people like that. I see a lot of that. They'll look down on you too.
You know what I like about Asian culture is, if you look at the whole continent of Asia, whether it's China, Japan, India, Vietnam, they have this level of honor that's unparalleled to any other race by their culture. So when you have, let's just use Colombia for example, right? Our moms are beauticians by trade. I know you probably been up in a Kim's.
Absolutely.
Or it's like, oh, this is Asian owned.
Too, yeah.
Exactly. This is Asian owned.
Mm-hmm.
This is Korean owned. You're selling to black products to black people, profiting off of it. Black people don't really see anything wrong with it. But when these Asian people first came up with like the stereotypical jobs, I think it was they had that honor and that discipline to them. So, for example, let's say when you go into Walmart, the first thing we see is a greeter when we walk in. That's not how their culture works. Their culture does not have to, they don't abide by, oh, let's say hello to somebody. That's something that has been gained over time.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Like now, like think about it. Think about when you go into a Kim's or a King's, the first person you see is the person on the cash register.
Mm-hmm.
They don't inherently come to you to say, hey, you got a problem?
Right.
They watch you walk around the store. And it's like, oh, it's been 10 minutes. Let me go talk to him now. That in itself is like mind blowing, because you go to anywhere else, you expect to be greeted by somebody. You go to, I don't know, you go to Applebee's. First person you see is a host.
Shit, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, like
you at the car, pull up on you.
Right?
How you doing? Can I take your order, sir?
But for Asian people, I don't know if they think they're white necessarily, but part of their culture is a certain level of honor and like loyalty, and it you literally can see it, like you can't deny it. For real, think about it. Think about like a cleaners that's Asian owned. There's no greeter.
Okay.
You literally have to talk to the person at the cash register.
Okay.
And then that person doesn't like inherently help you. They go to the back to get someone to help you.
Okay. Question. Does that mean that you got to lock your car door when I'm walking by?
You see, now why does an Asian person feel threatened by someone who's black?
I mean, honestly, if you seen any Asian woman out there, you could probably whoop my ass.
Right.
I mean, come on now. I mean, let's be real. If you seen any movie, if you seen any movie out there, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, whoa, you can probably stick your foot and break one off at me. Why you gotta lock your door when I'm walking by? Now, any Asian person listening, don't get that confused. You cannot whip my ass. I'm gonna let you know right now. Don't even walk up, don't even try, don't even think about it.
I got you, Kendall. One thing we have to say is that I don't believe. One thing we have to worry about the word racism and the word racist is that I had these plenty of conversations like this where I said, "Can someone black be racist?" The answer is no, because the word racist or racism, part of the definition of it is that it belongs to a majority of people. So because we live in America, the majority of race that's in our country is white. Therefore, if they do something prejudiced, they are racist. But black people, Asians, Hispanics, we can be prejudiced. And I know we're prejudiced because we laugh at comedians all the time when they make prejudicial jokes.
I mean, a lot of it do be true. A lot of it is true. I'm sorry.
They're based on stereotypes, and we laugh because they do come from a place of truth. But that does not make us racist. But we can very, like, if you look to our grandparents who, like, were there in the 60s, who remember when Kennedy died, when Malcolm X died, Martin died. If they're against white people, they aren't racist, but they're a product in their environment in which they do have a certain level of prejudice. So that's something that we have to fight as a people. Prejudice is something we have to fight as people. Racism is something white people have to fight against, which is why white people, when you call someone white racist these days, it's an insult to them. Like, I'm not racist. Terrell's my black friend.
I have black friends. I love when they do that.
And black people,
I have black friends.
all we want is, like, you don't have to justify it.
Right.
You just have to say, I'm not, and keep it pushing. We don't want you to, like, feel bad. We want you to do better.
That's it.
And we feel like what we're asking for is simple. And what you see us asking for is complex.
See, Terrell's my friend. Like, just because he's black, I don't mean I know Terrell. Come on, man.
You know, you go to class, and it's like, oh yeah, that's Jamal. Why are there 3 Jamals on campus? And each one of them has a different name. That's racist.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I never understood where really white people get their ideals about black people from. Like, I watched the episode of A Different World, and you know when they sprayed nigger on Dwayne's car, on whoever's car.
That
And they
argument.
say you people are so lazy. Where does that come from? Where does that even come from? Honestly.
I love that argument. I welcome that argument.
Can anybody please tell me what example you saw of a black person just being lazy when we had to struggle even more than you do? Hold on, we're going to pause this.
But I welcome that argument when a white person says something like, my grandfather or my great-grandfather immigrated to this nation, didn't know the language. I welcome that argument. Because as soon as you give my black ass that argument, I'm going in. Because I said what you have just said is inherently racist. Because you saw my skin color first. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm like, no, you assumed that all my people were slaves, which they were. But my dad is Panamanian. My great-grandfather, my ancestors, immigrated here from Panama and didn't know the language. And spoke with accents. So yeah, now black people are sitting here looking at us like, you're different. And then white people are looking at us like, you're different. Like, you're not just them, you're something else. So it's like, the audacity of you. You don't know enough history, you think you know enough that you think you have the upper hand and can prove that we're lazy. Like, no. Just like your grandfather came from the Netherlands or Germany or somewhere else, mine came here. Mine had to fight and learn the language.
And I parlay with you because on the darker side of things, black people, we didn't ask to come here.
No.
Your grandfather got on a boat willingly.
Willingly.
Came over and got his happy ass across that little pond. Came over here and decided to try and come build something. Okay. Right. Yeah, my people didn't have a choice. My people were captured. Like, they came, we was just chilling in our hood. You know what I'm saying? Just sitting there, just doing what we do every day. They came and got us. Some of our own people let us go. That man, look, don't even get me started about black people just saying about black
That'll
people.
break your heart, won't it?
Man, look. But that's the thing.
You know how big slavery was?
We didn't ask for any of this, and then we still get treated the worst on top of it. How you mad at somebody who didn't even ask to come here? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You bring us here, then you want to hate us, so you can hate us over here. You could have stayed where you was at, Peppy. You could have did what you was doing from afar. But you want to come and do this. So now it's to a point where they say learn the language. Okay, English is of course the number one language in the world, followed by Spanish, was about to overtake it. But the thing is, white people, y'all talk about how y'all built a country and came over here and discovered this and discovered that. Columbus. You didn't discover. How you discover something motherfucker already live at? Can somebody tell me that? You discovered something that people are already living, growing food, having families, build civilizations. You discovered that. So I'm gonna just go discover somebody else's car in the parking lot. See how that worked for me, you know? You didn't discover a damn thing. You stole. I mean, honestly. They brilliant at it. Just steal everything. Steal culture. You hate a people, but then you want to be like us. You want to dress like us. You want to say the N word. Okay, you started with that. You wanna.
That's a different conversation now.
Think about it though. Think about it. Whenever you see concerts rolling loud, all this stuff like that, what is the crowd? Mostly white. You got the baby up there, and every single face in the crowd is white. You know why? Because we can't afford to go.
You know, Lil Wayne said that he didn't think. I'm pretty sure Lil Wayne said he didn't think that white people were racist because white people were buying his albums and listening to his music.
Lil Wayne full of shit. I'm telling you right now, he is very intelligent. I'm not taking away from that man. He's an intelligent being, but Lil Wayne full of shit.
And I got a friend of mine who's at
whatever alopecia he got going on top of his damn head, whatever the hell it is.
I got a friend of mine who I sent. It was a post out.
George Jefferson with dreads looking ass motherfucker.
I sent him a white friend of mine. He's Caucasian. He's at USC Law, and I sent him a post about LL Cool J, who said that the Beastie Boys are making it hard for him to perform because Beastie Boys, although they were a rap group, they also embody like rock and roll presences in terms of their. Well, I handcuffed him and detained him for 30 minutes or an X amount of time. And he modeled the Beastie Boys because clearly the cops were like, "You're just like the Beastie Boys." Mm-hmm. So he's like, "I'm not." He's like, "I think they have wonderful music. I think they're reaching out to people. But you guys should be more respectful when you go to different places to have concerts." So I sent a message and I was like, man, you know more about music in the rap industry than what I do as a black man. I admit that. Back in school, it was hard for me to listen to trap music. I was like, what is this? And he said, Glenn, one thing you have to... He said, rock and roll, the origins of it are black people in the blues.
Damn.
Right? And he admits it. As a white person, he admits it. And he's like, you got the Beach Boys, Elvis Presley. They really tap in and steal part of the black people's music. And then what white people just love the music.
Who was Elvis Presley, the white version of?
Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry?
Chuck Berry? Chuck Berry?
I was thinking more James Brown.
More James Brown?
I was thinking James Brown.
James Brown. Well, James Brown kind of had that funk.
He tried. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got that kind of flavor, though.
You know what I'm saying?
He tried. The hair and all.
Yeah. And so he said with rap and hip-hop music,
yeah,
the white people that have come into the industry have not overwhelmed it the way that Elvis Presley and the Beach Boys and others did. So, I was like, wow. So, could you imagine hip-hop and rap music having a major influx of white artists? Not Eminem, not the Beastie Boys, because white people inside the rap and hip-hop is a minority.
Kill me now.
He was basically saying,
oh, man, I couldn't take that. Oh, God.
He was really like,
oh,
that did not happen in the case of rap and hip-hop, which is one of the reasons why we have different set of problems in our generation than what black people, white people did in the 60s and the 70s. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, I was mind blown because I was like, wow, actually think about it. In the 90s, in the late 80s, early 90s, when rap music was